Byju's 9th and 10th grade channel. I'm Aishwarya, and in our class today, especially for all my wonderful 9th graders, we are going to be doing a class on classification of living organisms. Now, in our class today, we are going to be discussing a topic which of course is not part of your current CBSE syllabus. Now, if you are from other boards, maybe ICSE or various other boards, you might have a chapter which says 5 kingdom classification, right? But if you are a CBSE student, this particular chapter does not exist. And the first time you will ever learn about this chapter will be in your 11th standard, okay? And in 11th standard, when you learn about this, if you are somebody who aspires to write NEET, right, or simple, even if you want to take up bio in your 11th standard, right, this right here is the first thing you will learn about. And when you learn about this for the first time in 11th grade, you will learn about lots of complicated things which can get scary, which is why our class today is going to be a very short and simple introductory class on what is classification, and to understand how classification takes place. We will also be looking at taxonomical hierarchy, which is something that you already know about, but we will touch upon a little bit on that and end with binomial nomenclature, okay? I am not going to go too much in detail unless and until you request for it, right? So in the chat or in the comments in our community, we had put up a poll asking if you wanted this chapter, and most of you wanted this session, right? And one thing to tell you is that this is not just for 9th grade. Tomorrow, if somebody is watching this post the live stream and you are from 10th standard, trust me, this chapter is very, very important, right? Which is why I am going to take my time and I'm going to teach this lesson, and towards the end, of course, we are going to be having a Menti quiz. Yes, so please make sure that all of you stay till the end, because we will have your very own Menti quiz as well, right? So everybody, please make sure you have your notebooks and pens with you. This chapter is being done on popular demand to build your basics for class 11, and in the Byju's 9th and 10th grade channel, we have already completed, right? We have already completed your biology syllabus, which is why we have some time to learn an extra chapter. So don't get too worried about it. Just think of building your basics. Yes, now a lot of you might be coming to our channel for the first time, so everybody quickly like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel, right? Very quickly, bachas, I can see good number if you are here. We need to hit 100 likes today, okay? We need to hit 100 likes on this particular video, so jaldi make sure you like this video, yes, and you subscribe, okay? And quickly tell me in the chat that you have done it. Yes, I know a lot of you are saying, ma'am, this portion is deleted. Yes, it is deleted, but like I told you, whatever is written on screen, if you are somebody who wants to pursue biology, right, in your 11th grade, then you have to study this chapter now only. Otherwise, 11th standard, you will go and you will get so scared. You will be crying in 11th standard telling, ma'am, this chapter is horrible. I am not able to understand. And for NEET also, you get lot of questions from this particular chapter, right? That is why I am starting now only for all of you. So please, bachas, listen to me. Stay focused, okay? You know, when I say 9th and 10th grade channel has got you covered, I mean it quite literally, that we don't just think about your 9th standard or 10th standard. We are thinking about your future quite literally, right? So very quickly, everybody, like the video and give me a thumbs up. Yes? Yes, Anil, I know you are also very worried, but don't worry, we are here. Okay. Ma'am, our school is taking this taking exam from this chapter too. Exactly. For some of you, this might even be there. Which is why after running the poll, we started this, right? And we decided to do this. So everybody, very quickly, I hope my audio, my video and my screen and what I'm writing on the screen is visible to all of you. If it is, give me a quick thumbs up. Yes, hello, very good. Can we also increase the font size once again? A little more? Okay, thanks. Now, one very important piece of information for all of you. No, Harshit, I am not ignoring all of you. I can see all of you are here, right? Now, for those of you who might get distracted in between, because we've been seeing that in the 9th and 10th grade channel, there have been some distractions on the live chat, which is why from now on our moderator will be taking some strict actions, right? And in case if you deviate from the conversation that we are talking about, or if it is not part of academic conversation, your accounts might get blocked, right? Which is why everybody please refrain from, maybe having other conversations or spamming in the live chat, okay? This is my sincere request. Stay at focus and trust me, towards the end you will tell me, ma'am, this was so easy, right? This was such an easy chapter, I was unnecessarily worried, okay? Also, here's a quick reminder for everybody to subscribe to the channel. As you know, Byju's 9th and 10th grade has got you covered. So we have a variety of sessions ready for all of you. And as you know, we have an important playlist out. Smart playlist will be out. Yes. So please make sure that all of you have subscribed, because you will find the playlist where all the one-shots, the NCERT exercise, right? I hope all of you have subscribed to the channel, because everything related to your exam, whatever you need to prepare for your exam, you will be able to find it, okay? So everybody quickly make sure that you subscribe and you share this video with all of your friends. All right. Varun Prasad is like, my friend is there in this session. Very good, very good. Okay. Ma'am, account will be blocked for how many minutes? You might not be able to text if your account is blocked, okay? That is what it means. It's different from timeout, okay? All right. Coming back, a quick recall of the topics that we are going to cover. We are going to understand what is classification. We will go ahead and understand the different types of classification that were there, like the 2-kingdom, 5-kingdom classification and so on, right? And of course, we are also going to be doing binomial nomenclature, right? So these are the basics that we are going to be covering in our class today. So you can make a note of it, okay? All right. Now, when we talk about classification, and when we say we're talking about classification of living organisms, we know that there are so many different kinds of living organisms that are there, right? Some very big, some very small, some which are made up of single cells, some which are made up of many cells put together, right? So when we say what makes Earth a special planet, now if I have to ask you, my bachas, what makes Earth a special planet? What will you tell me? What makes our planet a special planet that is different from the other planets, right? Yes, Harini says, ma'am, species. Very good. So there are different kinds of species, right? Or we find that there is life on Earth. Yes, Ridham, very good. Earth has life. The very single fact that we have so many living organisms and the variety that exists, right? That's what makes Earth so different. And yes, very good, Palak. Life exists only on Earth, right? So that is something that is there. Yes, Rachna. So now when we talk about living organisms, we don't find one kind of living organisms, but we find a variety of it, or a diversity of it. So that is what we call as biodiversity, right? So what is biodiversity? The variety of life, or the variety of living organisms that we find on Earth. Now the question comes as to, ma'am, what is classification? Why are we learning about classification? And why? Why at all in, especially when we talk about in our higher grades? Why are we learning about all of these things, right? So that is something that we need to know. So now, of course, to understand this, let me give you an example. How many of you have visited the mall? Can you tell me in the chat? How many of you have been to the mall? I am sure most of you will tell me yes only, but I am still asking. All of us have been to the mall, no? All of us have been to the mall. We would have gone with our family, right? Yes, very good, very good. Everybody's like, ma'am, no. Some of you have not been to the mall. Okay. For those of you who have not been to the mall, it's okay. Now it will be an experience that you are going to have. But for those of you who have been to the mall, what do you see in a mall? Can you tell me? What are the things we observe in the mall? Yes? You tell me first. Different things we will observe, right? Okay. Ma'am, I have visited me. Okay, fine. We see there are shops, right? So we see that there are various kinds of shops. Okay. Many shops are there. There are people. All right. There are many things, right? Now, some of you are also telling me, ma'am, there are dresses which are being sold. Sometimes we find food. Okay, very good. Different types of things, like they are arranged in different kinds of shops, right? So we see that there are dresses, foods, groceries. Very good, very good. Now, when you go, it is not like all these things are put in one pile, no? Like when you say, ma'am, there is food, there are groceries, there are dresses. Yes, it is not like all of this is made into one big pile and everybody is like, okay, see, inside the mall, all of this is there as one big pile. You go find what you want to do, right? How many of you would have seen this? Imagine all of this was piled up one on top of the other. Does it make it easy to find things? Does it make it easy? Yes or no? Yes, they are not scattered, right? These things are not scattered, but rather they are all arranged, right? They are all arranged in different shops. Yes, very good. They are arranged in a certain manner. Now, if you go into one shop also, right? Imagine if I go to one supermarket. Within the supermarket also, I see that they are further arranged, okay? I see that there will be one place where I can get all my bread. I'll get one place where I'll get all my, milk products. One place where I'll get ketchup, sauces and various other things, right? So, in different aisles, we will find different things. Now, before I go ahead, how many of you at home, right? This is something now everybody will agree to me. How many times is it that, we have that one chair in our house, no? There will be one chair in our house which is a landing place for all our clothes. Whatever, jacket, bag, everything that is there, you will come and you will put it on that one chair, no? Now imagine if you didn't have a cupboard, okay? Mama will always tell us, no? Keep your clothes inside the cupboard, right? Why? She will always tell us, keep your clothes inside the cupboard. But what will we do? Either after wearing it, we will throw it on top of the chair. Or what will happen is sometimes after washing, when mama will tell us, fold it and keep, we'll be like, yes, later. And you will throw it on the chair, right? Everybody is like, ma'am, me. Now what we'll do when I have to find it? I have to sit and search. Oh, where is my school belt? I can't find it. Where is my school uniform? I am not able to find it, right? But what will mama do inside the cupboard? Mama will neatly arrange it, right? All these places will be there. In one place, we will see that there will be all our clothes that we wear outside, right? Then there will be all our clothes which we wear inside. Then there will be some clothes which are like, special occasion clothes like Diwali, festivals, going outside. And similarly, at the same time, there will be one place for everything, right? Yes, in all these cases, it is arranged, right? Now, what is it arranged on? I have arranged my cupboard based on the occasion where I wear my clothes, right? It's arranged in a suitable manner. So, there is some basis on which I am arranging, or what we can say is I am classifying, okay? So, this examples that we took is what we call as classifying or classification. So, when we look at living organisms, there are millions of living organisms all over the world, right? And it's not easy for me to figure out what organisms are what. Imagine if there are almost, assuming there are 8 million organisms all over the world. And you imagine that you and I want to start studying about these living organisms. Do you think it's easy? Do you think I'll go and study each and every one by one? Do you think I'll finish studying about these living organisms in this lifetime? Will I finish studying? You only tell me. 8 million organisms, one by one I am going to study about them. Will I finish? Yes? No, right? No, of course. Even if you, me, all of us sit together and we're like, yes, let's do it together. Even then, we might not finish. And imagine if there are new organisms that I discover. Then what is there? What will I figure out? Stuff, no? Which is why we need classification. So what is classification? Very fancy definition here. It is a scientific procedure of arranging organism into hierarchical series of groups and subgroups on the basis of their similarities and differences. Or simply put, I can say that classification is the process of grouping organisms based on their similarities and differences. Okay, so this is what we mean by classification, right? Now on the other side, right, I will tell you what hierarchy means, Mahi. Just give me 5 minutes. We are going to discuss about it. Okay, yes, I will tell. So now, of course, this is what we mean by classification. Okay, now in this case, when we talk about based on similarities and differences, so let's take our clothes only. I was grouping my clothes like, oh, this dress I will wear outside, this dress I will wear outside. But no, this dress I don't wear outside, I wear it inside my home, so I'm going to keep it separately, right? So as you know, this is what we mean by difference. So based on the difference, I'm making a separate group. Are we clear with what is classification? Are we clear? Yes? Menti hai kya? Zarur menti hai, but after I finish teaching, it's based on this, so all of you need to pay attention, okay? Yes, I've just gotten started. So, yes, everyone, I've just gotten started. Okay. All right, everybody. Very good. Very good. So, everybody, quickly make sure that you like this video and you do not forget to like this video and, of course, subscribe, right? Don't forget to do that. Yes. So, this is what we mean by classification. Now, of course, when we talk about another thing, we need to also learn about this terminology, which is taxonomy, right? So we need to know what is taxonomy or taxonomy. So what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is nothing but the branch of science. So if this is classification, then taxonomy is the branch of science that deals with naming, describing, and classifying these organisms, right? So this is what we mean by taxonomy, okay? So taxonomy is the branch of science, classification is one such process, okay? And yes, I will be sending this to you, don't worry, okay? Very good. So now why should I do this classification? Ma'am, why are we learning about this whole thing? What is the process? Why am I doing this, right? Very simple. It is necessary because classification makes it easy to study organisms, right? Now imagine if I have 8 million organisms, but if I do this process of grouping based on similarities and differences, then I only need to study a few organisms and not all of them. If I study a few, then whatever fits my profile, I will sit and I will group it into that particular group. So it makes it very easy, yes. So along with that, it also helps in identifying new organisms. Now imagine if I have a new organism X, okay? And I see that there are some, features, some 5-6 features are there. Now based on this, I will be able to figure out if this particular organism X is a bacteria, it's a plant, it's an animal, or if it is a fungi, right? So I am able to do this. So that's why we need to do this. And along with that, it also helps us to understand the origin and evolution. Now this is a growing field where we are constantly trying to understand how the organisms that we find today, right? So not like in the earth, suddenly one day there were 8 million organisms. No, it is not like one fine day so many organisms popped up. But rather what we observe is that there were times when from a common ancestor, many organisms evolved. And we're still trying to figure out how exactly all of this happened. Lot of research is happening into this, right? Which is why classification, taxonomy, studying organisms is very important. So, it's the diversity that helps us understand this. Now, do you think that, a lot of you are telling me, ma'am, Carl Linnaeus. So, do you think Carl Linnaeus was the first person who started doing taxonomy, right? Or started doing this practice of classification? What do you think? Was it Carl Linnaeus who did this first? Because right now when you talk about it, we know that there is a process, there is a structure to it, there's a certain way in which we study about it. But do you really think that he was the first person who did it? Ma'am, no. If it wasn't Carl Linnaeus, then who was it? Can you tell me? Who was it who did it? Who did it for the first time? Who attempted to group these organisms for the first time? Yes, can you tell me? Charles Darwin. Okay. Us. Okay. Yes, very good, very good. It is Aristotle and not Charles Darwin, okay? So Aristotle was a philosopher, right? And he was very interested. Like, he's very curious about a lot of things, okay? Oh, what is happening here? And they're very curious man he was. So about 2,500 years ago, what he did was he's like, oh, I see so many living organisms, right? So let me do one thing. Based on where I find my organisms, I will group them into organisms I find on land, ones I find on water, and ones I find on air. Very easy, no? Right? It's a very simple and easy way of classifying organisms. Why couldn't we do it, right? Why couldn't we go with this way of grouping organisms? What do you think? Yes? Very good, Anil. Very good. Yes. Ankita, I will not be able to send it to you on the live chat, but I'll send it to you on Telegram, so don't worry. Yes, can you tell me why can't we go with what Aristotle did? So easy, no land, water, air, so simple. We don't even need to put too much thought. Ma'am, 3 groups are there, we are sorted, right? Yes, this is a very general way. Yes, it's a very general way. What else? Ma'am, bacteria. Exactly. Things like bacteria, microorganisms that are there, we see that they are found on land, we find them on water, and we find them in air also, right? So it's a very overall way of it. And there are many types, right? So in land only we find so many kinds of organisms. It does not make studying easy, right? Which is why it is important to have a structure. So how do we organize such a vast diversity of organisms? By bringing in a certain structure. So now if you were to build something or if you were to organize something, right? Imagine you had a pile of clothes, or if you have anything, you'll be like, okay, I will make, groups out of it. I will organize it. I will keep it, right? So I'm going to do all these things, right? So that's what we mean by organizing. So let's go back in time a little to understand what these scientists contributed to classification systems, and we are going to be looking at some of the important classification systems. But so far, whatever I have taught you, right? Whatever I have taught you, are you clear with this? Are you clear? Yes? Do you have any doubts? Very quickly, everybody. Yes, Vikas. Hello. Hi, Kasinath. Yes, Anil. Are we clear, bachas, or have we drifted off? Please, everybody, refrain from, please refrain from spamming in the chat, right? Sometimes you might get timed out or blocked, which is why refrain from doing that. Yes, ma'am. Very good. Okay. All right. So now, of course, moving on, right? Vikas Gupta, please stop spamming. Yes, ma'am, taxonomy. Okay, what is taxonomy? I will write it on screen. See, taxonomy is nothing but it is the branch of science, okay? So we see that it is a branch of science that deals with identifying, classifying, and grouping organisms, right? Or I would say, and describing organisms to study them better. Yes? All right. Very good, bachas. Very good. For those of you who have just joined my class and you might be very new, my name is Aishwarya and I mainly teach you biology, right? So everybody quickly make sure that you like this video. I can see that there are a good number of students watching, but very, very few likes, bachas. So quickly like the video. Do not forget to like, okay? Yes, very good, very good. Ma'am, for me also, send it to me. Okay, I will send it to you on Telegram, okay? The video will be there. And if the video is blurry, please make sure that you go ahead and you refresh the screen. Yes, Vanshika, like I told you, no, there are going to be times when if you spam, then you will get timed out or blocked. I've been very clear from the beginning only, okay? So now we have looked at all of these things, right? So we know that there is, what do we say? We've learned about classification. We've learned about taxonomy. Now we know that the first person who attempted to do this was Aristotle, right? So now let's actually see who brought in this concept of organizing this whole process, okay? So now let's understand this. Now the first person, okay, who actually brought in some structure into classification was Carolus Linnaeus, okay? Very, very important. All of you were like, ma'am, Carl Linnaeus, right? So we know that Carl Linnaeus is often known as the father of taxonomy. And why so? Because he was the one who brought in this concept of bringing in a structure or bringing in a hierarchy. You are all asking me, ma'am, what does hierarchy mean? It means that one after the other, a certain structure, a certain format. That is what we mean by this. Is the year important? See, if it's not part of your syllabus, the year is not important. If it is part of your syllabus, then this is important, okay? Years are important. Now moving on. We know that he wrote some books based on this, which is known as Species Plantarum and Systema Natura. And he was the one who came up with the idea. He did not write Origin of Species, okay? That was Darwin. It was not him, all right? So now, of course, as we know, right, what is hierarchy? Hierarchy is a structure, one after the other, right? And we know that he was the one who came up with this term, kingdom, right? The word kingdom. Some of you are asking me, ma'am, genus, what does all of this mean? He came up with a hierarchy or this particular concept. And he said that I am going to make two very big groups called as kingdoms. And he came up with the idea of the two kingdom classification, wherein he called one as kingdom Plantae, that included all the plants, and kingdom Animalia, which included all the animals, right? So this seems like a very logical way of classifying, no? Do you think there is any problems with this way of classifying? Do you observe any problems or any drawbacks? Yes? Any of you? Ma'am, how much time would this class take? About another half an hour more. 8 p.m. I will wind this up and then we have a mentee towards the end, right? Yes, very good. Yes, Mahi, it is correct. Ma'am, Plantae Animalia. Yes, very good. Yes, exactly. What about the bacteria? What about the microorganisms? Now, what he did was, he put all the microorganisms with the plants only. He's like, you go be with the plants, okay? But now the issue in this case was bacteria, like one type of it, we know that bacteria are prokaryotes which do not have a well-defined nucleus. And he's put it along with plants which are eukaryotes. Now some microorganisms are unicellular while the others are multicellular. And here again we see that some plants, most plants of course, are autotrophic, while there are microorganisms that are heterotrophic. So he's put together things that don't really go along, right? Which is why in this case we see that there were certain drawbacks, right? So there were certain drawbacks to his way of classifying. Which is why later on, many years later, right, there was a German zoologist who was called as Ernst Haeckel, right, and he came up with the three kingdom classification, okay. So he said that, see, two kingdoms cannot do the trick, we should have three kingdoms. And what did he do? He added a third kingdom which was called as Protista, right? And in Protista, it included all the microorganisms, right? So we have all microorganisms in Protista, all plants in Plantae, and all animals in Animalia. Problem solved, no? Our problem has solved. Yes? Have we solved our problem? Yes or no? Have we solved it? Yes or no? In the chat, we have three kingdom classification. One for microbes, one for plants, one for animals. Avisha says, ma'am, no. Rhythm says no. Okay. Now, tell me why no. Why is our problem not solved? Ma'am, what does heterotrophic mean? Heterotrophic means that these are organisms that cannot prepare their own food and they are dependent on other organisms. Yes? Okay. Ma'am, what about fungi? Yes. We have some multicellular organisms which are fungi. Okay. Yes, microorganisms now we are including it. Ma'am, where are water birds and animals? All water birds, animals are now in animals only. All of them have gone there. Okay. Everybody's like, ma'am, fungi, fungi, fungi. Okay. Yes. Now there are some, if you see, in microorganisms, some of them, ma'am, algae are there. Exactly. We have some unicellular algae also, right? And we know that there is bacteria and organisms like amoeba. Now, can you tell me one point of difference between bacteria and amoeba? Very simple, based on their cell type, right? So, based on what kind of cell they have, can you tell me the difference between bacteria and amoeba? Because we know both are unicellular organisms. But what is their point of difference? Yes, very good. Anil has given me an answer. Eukaryote. Exactly. So in this case, if you look at it, right, we know that amoeba here is eukaryotic in nature. And here we have prokaryote, right? So we see that there is one big limitation. And apart from that, if you see, no, we also see that there are some microorganisms like fungi, which for example is of course, you know, if you look at bread mold like Rhizopus, it is microscopic, right? But this is multicellular. Structurally, it is very, very different. So how are we putting all of them together? Not possible. Which is why later on there was another scientist who came up with the four kingdom classification. Okay, so we see that he came up with the four kingdom classification. And they realized that, oh, you know what, bacteria is causing us the problem. So let's give a separate kingdom to bacteria. So wherein now we have a separate kingdom called Monera, which included all the bacteria. Then we had Protista, okay. Then we had Plantae, and then we had Animalia, right? And this was given by Copeland, okay. His name was Copeland, okay. So now your Protista has what? It has some unicellular organisms like amoeba. So I will say unicellular eukaryotic organisms, okay. And now it also has your fungi, right? And now your bacteria, which are your prokaryote, has become separate, right? So now we have four kingdom. Yes? Are we good to go now? Is this still good to go? Shall we say yes, four kingdom classification works for me? What do you think? Yes or no? In the chat. Ma'am, what about algae? I'm getting to this point, Avisha. I'm getting to this point. Please wait for 5 more minutes. I will tell you the answer. Everybody is like, ma'am, yes, ma'am. We are good to go. Exactly. No. Where is our dear fungi? Exactly, our poor fungi. They are not even caring about the fungi. They're like, you be wherever you want, right? So fungi are here, right? And along with that, you're putting fungi, something like bread mold, along with unicellular organisms, right? So this right here is the major problem. Which is why, if you see, widely accepted classification group is the 5 kingdom classification. Exactly. But before I get to 5 kingdom classification, any doubts that you have so far? Someone was asking me, ma'am, differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic, right? So when we talk about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, we know that they don't have no well-defined nucleus, right? Here they don't have a well-defined nucleus, while these guys have a well-defined nucleus where the genetic material is found enclosed by a nuclear membrane, right? And we know that here there are no, membranous cell organelles, right? So we see that there are no membrane-bound cell organelles, right? While here we find membrane-bound cell organelles, okay? So are we clear with this so far? See, this is mainly for class 9, but if class 10 students are there, I'm telling you, it's still helpful for you only. It is important that it's for both 9th and 10th grade because see, at the end of the day, you guys don't have this chapter and you need to study this, right? So it's very, very important. Ma'am, how to include this? Remember the examples, I will tell you, right? Ma'am, amoeba is included in Protista. Yes, it is. Ayush, what is my name? My name is Aishwarya. What is taxonomy? It is a branch of science that deals with describing, classifying and grouping organisms, right? So it's the branch of science that deals with it, okay? How many hours? Another half an hour. Bas, ho gaya, right? So before that, everybody, quick reminder on Parent Club. As you know, we are in December month and you know that New Year season is around the corner where we all make our resolutions. And of course, most often than not, what happens is that we will be like, oh ma'am, I decided to do this, but I didn't do it. Because we don't set our goals properly. And your Chetna ma'am, who is our parenting expert, will be telling you how you and your parents can work toward having proper goals, right? So please make sure that you register. It's happening on 21st of December at 6 p.m. Limited seats are there, so go ahead and register, all right? Okay, so here's a quick reminder, and after this, I'm not done yet. It's just a quick reminder for all of you, okay? All right. So now, of course, we will move on to the 5 kingdom classification. All right. Now, the 5 kingdom classification that is there was put forth by Robert Whittaker or R.H. Whittaker, right? And he came up with the concept of 5 kingdom classification, wherein we see that there is Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. All right. मैम डिटेल में पढ़ाओ ना ये चैप्टर, मैं डिटेल में जरूर पढ़ाऊंगी, बट अभी के लिए मैं इंट्रोडक्शन ही कर रही हूँ, ठीक है? हिंदी वो इनिशियल पार्ट ही मैं टीच कर रही हूँ. अगर आपको डिटेल में चाहिए तो कमेंट्स में बता दीजिए, ठीक है? So now moving on, we are going to be looking at understanding the 5 kingdom. How did he come up with this 5 kingdom classification? Now trust me, This is my favorite flowchart. Mai is asking me, ma'am, why fungi needs to be put in different section? Ma'am, because it's like, ma'am, details batao. I will be telling you in detail. So first let us understand how he came to the concept of having 5 kingdoms, right? So we should know that. So first thing is what he did was, he took all the organisms, right? So all living organisms. Yes. Now the first thing he considered was the cell type, okay? So he considered the cell type. So was it prokaryotic or eukaryotic, right? So now based on this, what did he do? He grouped organisms into 2, okay? And what he did was, he took all the prokaryotic organisms and he put them in Monera. So all your prokaryotic organisms are now in kingdom Monera. Now what are you left with? You are left with all the eukaryotic organisms. No, so all eukaryotic organisms are now here. Yes. So that is where he considered the next criteria. Alright. So now he considered the next criteria, which I will write in green, where he considered cell number. So he's like, okay, I have all my eukaryotic organisms, but I see that there are some which are unicellular, while some which are multicellular, right? Now what he did, he took all the eukaryotic organisms which are unicellular in nature and then he put them into the next kingdom, which is Protista. So in Protista, what do you have? You have eukaryotic unicellular organisms, right? Now you are left with all your multicellular organisms which are eukaryotic. So now what did he do? He took the third criteria, okay? And the third criteria here, I will use maybe red color, was cell wall, right? Cell wall, is it present or absent, right? So he took this condition, all right? So now if it was absent, okay, he grouped all of them in Animalia, where we see that they are eukaryotic, multicellular and cell wall is absent. Yes. So now you are left with eukaryotic multicellular organisms with cell wall. And that is where he considered the last category. I am taking this here. Okay, I don't have enough place, so I'm squeezing it, right? So he considered the last category, that is mode of nutrition. Okay. So mode of nutrition. Now we know mode of nutrition can be of 2 types. It can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Now based on this, if they are autotrophic, they came under Plantae. But if they are heterotrophic, then they came under fungi. Yes. So are we clear, everybody, with this chapter? Are we clear with how the 5 kingdom classification came into the picture? Yes. Everybody, you can take a screenshot of this on how exactly it came, right? Okay, ma'am, isn't it 3? No, it is 5. 3 kingdom classification is not there, okay? 3 kingdom classification is incomplete. Yes? Easy, no? So far easy? Ma'am, repeat once again. Chalo, I will repeat it once again. Yes? Now, organisms, and I'm talking about all the living organisms, what he did, no? What he did was, he first took the cell type into consideration. Okay, if I think about cell type of the organism, will it be prokaryotic or will it be eukaryotic? If it is prokaryotic, then all my organisms which are unicellular and prokaryotic, they will come in Monera. Okay, so he put all the prokaryotic organisms in Monera. Now he is left with eukaryotic organisms. Now these eukaryotic organisms can either be unicellular or they can be multicellular, right? So if they are unicellular, then they will come in Protista. While on the other hand, he took all the multicellular organisms and he was like, okay, let me consider character number 3. So we looked at 1, which is cell type, 2, which is cell number, 3, which is cell wall, right? Now he's like, is cell wall present or absent? If it is present, if it is absent, then he sees that eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular, where cell wall is absent, will come in Animalia, right? And last but not the least, he was left with mode of nutrition. Is it autotrophic or heterotrophic? If it is autotrophic, multicellular eukaryotic organisms, it is plantae. But if it is eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular and heterotrophic, they will come in fungi. So are we clear with the basis of five kingdom classification? Are we clear? Yes? Okay. Anil, you can text in the comment section. Okay, everything add it in the comment section. Yes? If it is detailed. Yes, ma'am, it is okay. You can take a screenshot, bachas, because if I remove or if I, delete, if I go back, right, this will be gone, this flow chart. It's a little bit confusing, I agree. Because see, at one go, that's why I'm telling you, and this is why I'm stressing on this. If you learn this directly in 11th standard, it will be very scary. But if you start building your basics, and that's what I want you to do, build your basics slow and steady, this chapter becomes very easy, bacha. Okay? Is there a possibility? No. There is no possibility that there's a multicellular prokaryotic organism. Organisms can be filamentous like cyanobacteria, right? Wherein many cells will form a filament. But it's not considered to be multicellular per se. Okay? Yes. Mainly prokaryotic cells are unicellular. Okay? Alright. Yes? So are we clear now? Are we clear? Shall I go ahead and teach you a little more on the characteristics of all the five kingdoms? Yes? Exactly, hardest chapter. See, I'm spending time on the basics because if you learn this, I'm telling you the rest of it is very simple, right? All right, very good. Clear? Yes. Now let's move on to learning more about the prokaryotic organisms, right? So starting with kingdom number 1, we have Monera, right? Now Monera mainly include, and when you're learning characteristics, learn it in this way, right? I'm going out of the screen, so I'll come inside a little. So mainly, let's start with understanding what is their cell type. So we know that they are mainly your prokaryotic organisms, and this mainly include all the bacteria. Okay, very simple and easy. Now when we talk about their cell number, are they unicellular or multicellular? You can write down that they are mainly unicellular organisms, right? And here and there we see that they are filamentous, okay? Now you will tell me, ma'am, isn't this multicellular? But these are many cells, single cells which are put together, okay? So they mainly include unicellular prokaryotic organisms. Now moving on to cell wall. So do they have cell wall? Yes or no? Now mainly we see that they do have a cell wall, right? So most of them have a cell wall. So we see that most or some of them, again we see that some have cell wall, while there are some that don't have a cell wall or they have a very reduced cell wall, okay? So in this case, we see that they have a reduced cell wall. So some have cell wall, some don't have. It's as simple as that. Now again, when we go to the mode of nutrition, right? So when we go to the mode of nutrition, we see that there are some which are autotrophic like the cyanobacteria, and there are some which are heterotrophic. Like if you take Salmonella, Vibrio, they are all heterotrophic in nature where they cannot produce their own food, right? So quickly, what are the characteristics of Monera? Mainly include prokaryotic cells that are unicellular. Some have cell wall, while the other case we see that some do not have cell wall. What is their mode of nutrition? There are some which are autotrophic in nature, which includes your cyanobacteria. Some which are heterotrophic in nature, like for example your Vibrio, Salmonella and all of them, right? Now of course when we talk about cell wall, this is extra information, don't get scared, right? Because there are two other kingdoms with cell wall also, right? So when we talk about their cell wall, we see that it is made up of something known as peptidoglycan. Fancy word, extra information. What is it made up of? Peptidoglycan. Okay, that is what it is. Is there a trick to learn with examples? See, I'll tell you one more thing. So normally how I study diversity or how I did was I used to, Monera means I think about a bacteria, right? I think about a bacterial cell. Then I'll sit and list down the characteristics. So that is one way of doing it. Filamentous means it will be one after the other like this. It will form a strand or a filament, right? Ma'am, is there a trick? Exactly. Learn one example. It should be easy. Okay. All right, everybody. So now, are we clear with this? Ma'am, cell wall to cellulose hai. Exactly, but cellulose is in plants. That's why I wrote this. Cellulose does not make up every cell wall of living organisms. Okay. And when we learn fungi again, you will understand the difference. All right. So are we clear? Cell wall of prokaryotic cells is made up of peptidoglycan. Write this down, take a screenshot, whatever you need to do. Now we are going to move on to the next one, right? Next one is protista, okay? Now when we talk about protista, again, we will do the same drill, all right? So we're going to start with cell type. So what is a cell type here? Prokaryotic or eukaryotic? It will be eukaryotic cells. Now what is their cell number? Are they unicellular or multicellular? Now in this case we see that they are unicellular organisms. Now let's talk about cell wall. What do you think? Amoeba, paramecium, euglena. Do you think, okay, let's not take euglena into consideration, but let's take amoeba and all of them. Do you think they have cell wall? Yes or no? What do you think? Yes, this chapter is omitted from CBSE board. Like I told you in the beginning only, this chapter is omitted from CBSE board. But you need to learn the basics for your 11th and 12th grade if you are somebody who aspires to write NEET or continue with PCMB. Yes, very good. They don't have cell wall. That is the thing, okay? Very, very important. We see that in the case of amoeba and all, there are no cell wall. Or rather what they will have is they will have an additional layer, okay? But that's not a cell wall, right? We don't see it as a cell wall per se. And in this case, if you look at their, mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition, again, we see that they can be autotrophic or they could be heterotrophic in nature, right? And in this case, if you think about it, ma'am, any additional layer in amoeba? No, it is not there, okay? Mainly you will find it in euglena. It starts with something with P, but I am not able to remember it at this point, but I'll let you know, okay? Like there are times when I also forget stuff, so at this point I'm not able to remember, but I will tell you, okay, bachas? So now moving on, in the case of protista, right? Do they have cell membrane? Of course, they have cell membrane. Cell membrane is present in them, but we do not observe in the case of, we do not really observe a cell wall. Ma'am, euglena has cell wall. See, that's what, it's not a cell wall, right? It's actually a structure which is fused, okay? So it's called something with P. I'm not able to remember it at this point, right? Okay, Ayush, I'm not ignoring you, bacha. I'm not ignoring you at all. Okay. Now moving on, we see that there are locomotory organs. That means there are structures which help them in moving around. So in the case of euglena, we see that they have a whip-like flagella, right? We see that they have a whip-like flagella. In the case of paramecium, we see that there are hair-like cilia. Yes, and in the case of amoeba, we see that they have false feet or they have pseudopodia. What is locomotion? When they are able to go from one point to the other point, right? That's what we call as cilia. That's what we understand as locomotion. And structures that help these organisms go from one point to the other point is what we call as locomotory organs. So are we clear, everybody? Are we clear? Yes. Ayush, please send me your doubt again. I would have missed your doubt, right? That doesn't mean that I'm ignoring you. Palak, again, like I told you, this portion is deleted, but this I am teaching you for your 11th grade, okay? Otherwise, you will learn this directly in 11th grade and you will get scared. That's why I'm teaching you once again. Okay. Ma'am, in which organisms would we place an organism that is unicellular, photosynthetic and prokaryotic? If it is prokaryotic, Monera, okay? It is Monera. All right, okay. Abhishek, you can let me know your doubts in the comment section and I will let you know. Ma'am, what is saprotrophic? Ayush, I'm actually about to teach you when I do fungi. But saprotrophic organisms are nothing but those organisms which are found growing on dead and decaying matter. Right? So if these organisms feed off dead and decaying matter, we call them as saprotrophic. Yes? Ma'am, photosynthetic also? Yes, exactly. Like your cyanobacteria is photosynthetic, right? So that will also go in Monera only. All right. Ma'am, quality is very low. Please increase the quality by going to your settings. All right. Ma'am, what is flagella? Flagella is this long whip-like structure that will keep lashing back and forth and that will help in movement. Okay? Yes. All right. Okay? Saprophytic, more or less the same only. Right? Saprophytic again is a term like we say saprotrophic. See, in your grade for 9th standard, I'll tell you saprotrophic, saprophytic is where nothing but where they are found growing in dead and decaying organisms and they will decompose it. Right? Okay. Ma'am, you didn't answer my doubt on fungi. I will answer it when I do fungi. Okay. Ma'am, flagella is found in plant cell. No, it is not found. No, we don't find flagella. Yes. Okay. Ma'am, there is issue from my side. Array, we don't have an issue. Are we having an issue, Vishnu? Quality issue? No, no. Whip-like is flagella. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right, bachas. So now are we clear with prokaryotic and eukaryotic? Are we clear with Monera and Protista? Are we clear? Maroti, please, I would have missed your doubt, but if it is regarding fungi, I will answer it now. Okay? Yes, very good. Okay. Let me just quickly go check if your doubt is there. And yes, Ritika, I remember you. Ma'am, quality is very low. Maroti, yes, if your quality is very low, then just go to settings and you will be able to check it out. Okay? Ma'am, what is whip? Whip is like if you take a belt and if you move it up and down like that. No, that is what a whip is, right? Yes. My name is Aishwarya. Are we clear, everybody? Are we clear with the first two? Give me a quick thumbs up. Give me a chain of smileys and let's get going. Right? We'll go to the third one. Yes, very good, very good. Okay. All right, everyone. All right. And I hope all of you have liked this video, right? I hope all of you have liked this video. I see very few likes on this video. So, fatafat like the video. Yes? All right. So now, of course, Maroti, you were asking me about Ante result but not score. Please reach out to the Akash Center. You can call them, give them your Ante roll number. They will be able to help you out with Ante result, right? So you can reach out to them because I will only be able to help you out with which platform you can go, okay? All the best for your exam, Vikas. All the best, right? Yes, let's get going to the third one, which is fungi, because after this we have Menti quiz also, right? We have to quickly do the Menti quiz. Yes, so let's pace it up a little. So now we are going to move on to fungi, okay? Now when we talk about fungi, we know that these are mainly multicellular organisms, okay? But we also know that there are some unicellular organisms which includes yeast, right? So this is unicellular. But on the other side, if you see, we know that they are eukaryotic in nature and they do possess a cell wall which is made up of chitin, all right? So they are made up of chitin. Now, of course, we also see that these guys are mainly heterotrophic. So now so far we were saying they could be autotrophic, some could be heterotrophic, but in this case all of them are heterotrophic. And we see that they are mainly found growing on dead and decaying organisms, which is why we say that they exhibit saprophytic or saprotrophic mode of nutrition, right? So this is what we mean by it. Now we see that we have some unicellular organisms such as yeast, and we also have some multicellular ones, wherein we know that in multicellular also some could be microscopic like Aspergillus and Rhizopus, while some could be macroscopic, wherein you don't really need a microscope and you can still see it, right? Which is why we call it as that. Yes, they have those filament-like structures that are there. Yes, Asta, very good. So are we clear with fungi? Very simple and easy, right? Very simple. Ma'am, what is the cell wall made up of? It is made up of chitin. Yes? All right. It is made up of chitin. Okay? Ma'am, why do these organisms need to be put in another section as there are many exceptions, right? Exactly. There are many exceptions. But if you look at the exceptions also in other categories, you will see that the number is relatively less. Now, when you look at the organisms or number of fungi that we find, there are thousands and thousands of species, right? And we see that they all exhibit these similarities, which is why in this case, we have a separate category for them, okay? So, are we clear as to why we require a separate one? Are we clear? Yes, all right. Ma'am, meaning of prop. Prop roots, are you asking me about prop roots? Okay. Yes, are we clear? Fungi has become simple, no? Very good. Now shall we move on to the next one? Yes, we will move on to the next one where we will learn about plantae. Rajan, I will tell you about prop roots after I finish this, okay? Now plants and animals are very easy, right? We know that plants are multicellular. They are multicellular eukaryotic organisms, right? And we also see that these organisms that are there, yeah, they are the easiest to remember. They are autotrophic in nature. They have a cell wall. The cells are made up of cell wall. And in this case, the cell wall is made up of cellulose, right? And in this case, we see that normally they are not able to, we don't observe a lot of locomotion, right? Yes, angiosperms and gymnosperms are here. Plantae is actually further categorized into 5 divisions, out of which 2 are angiosperms and gymnosperms, and all are photosynthetic. Yes, very good, very good. This is there in the ICSE syllabus for grade 9, right? It's there in grade 9. But yes, there are exceptions as well. Ma'am, are there any plants which are unicellular? No, there are none. Right? They are all multicellular. Ma'am, what is chitin? Chitin is a substance. It is a complex carbohydrate that makes up the cell wall of the fungi. Okay? Yes. Now, some of you are asking me, ma'am, what about some multicellular algae? Right? What about multicellular algae which are photosynthetic? Where will these guys go? Have any of you wondered this? Have you wondered which would it be? Right? Multicellular algae which are photosynthetic. Where will they go? Will they go to Protista or will they come in Plantae? Yes? Will they come in Plantae? I will tell you, Irfan, 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. Yes, exactly. They will come in Plantae. So your multicellular algae like kelp and various other ones that are there, they will come in algae. Or they will come in the case of Plantae. Now some of you are asking me, ma'am, what about amphibians? Are there any amphibians in Plantae? I will say yes. So the mosses that you see, right? The mosses that we normally find growing on moist soil, or we find them very close to water. We would have all seen moss, no? How many of you have seen moss? We've all seen moss, right? There are exceptions in Plantae also. Exactly. It is definitely there, right? Yes. They are called as the amphibians of kingdom Plantae. Why are they called as the amphibians of kingdom Plantae? Because we see that they don't have properly developed root system, right? Which is why they need to be found growing, and they don't have xylem, phloem, and they don't have all of those structures. Which is why we see that they are found growing in places. What are mosses? They are a kind of plant. I'm sure all of you would have seen. No, I don't have an image with me, but you see that some green like structures are there. Could you show the photo? I don't have the photo with me, bacha, but you can check it online, right? You will be able to go. Yes, okay. Zarur. Ma'am, what are prop roots? So prop roots are nothing but those roots that we see in banyan tree. Okay, so in banyan tree and all, you would have seen lot of roots which are hanging down like this. No, they are called as prop roots. Okay, now they are adventitious roots, so they are a different kind of roots, and in this case they grow so that they can provide support, and we call them as adventitious roots because they are found growing from the stem, right? So that is what we mean by it. Ayush, I have answered your question on chitin already. Okay, all right. I have already answered your question on chitin. Chitin is nothing but a carbohydrate. It is a complex carbohydrate, I would say, which makes up cell wall of fungi. Yes. Can Raju please maintain the decorum of the class? Yes. Now moving on, any more questions? Ma'am, if multicellular algae would not have been photosynthetic, then which category would that have been placed? Very interesting question. Very, very interesting. To be honest, if they were not photosynthetic and if they did not have a cell wall, most likely in Animalia they would have been there, right? Ma'am, DNA is present in fungi. Yes, DNA is present in fungi. Yes. Are we clear, ma'am? What are vascular bundles? Vascular bundles are nothing but xylem and phloem together. So your transporting system makes up that, right? Mosses are biophyta. Yes, mosses are biophyta. Ma'am, DNA is present in fungi. Yes, DNA is present in fungi. It is present. I am writing this down because I think you are missing my doubts, right? I think you're missing my explanations or the answers. That's why I'm writing it on screen as I answer. Hello, Salman. Hello. Bachas, very quickly. So we are clear with the 4 of it. No, we are all clear with kingdom Plantae. DNA is present in organisms. Most living organisms have DNA, right? Yes, all right. Ma'am, will you finish chapter today? I will only be doing the introduction, okay? Only the introduction. I will do Monera once again towards the end, all right? Towards the end. Now, moving on, everyone. We have Animalia as well, right? Now, when we talk about kingdom Animalia, we know that this mainly includes, this is the easiest of the lot, right? We know that it includes multicellular eukaryotic organisms. Yes, and we know that these organisms have no cell wall. Cell wall is absolutely absent and they are heterotrophic in nature. Now, this is one of the largest kingdoms that are there, okay? One of the largest kingdoms that are there. What is eukaryotic? I have already answered, na? They are eukaryotic in nature. That means they have a well-defined cell wall, right? So this is something which is very, very important, right? So this is important that you need to understand this, okay? So there's the basics about Animalia, and we know that Animalia can be broadly divided into 2 groups, where we know that some do not have a vertebral column, right? So we call them as invertebrates. So these are invertebrates which have no vertebral column, right? And we also have vertebrates which have a vertebral column. So this is the broad classification. Ma'am, monocot and dicot. Monocot is nothing but a seed with single cotyledon. Dicot is one with double cotyledon, right? Yes, okay. All right, everybody. Yes, I can see that some of you are spamming and you know that our chat moderator is on it. So please make sure, right, that you all focus. Okay. So now, of course, very quickly, everybody, we know that viruses per se are not classified in any of the kingdoms, and you know the answer for this, right? So in this case, we know that it is not classified in any of the kingdoms. Very quickly, can you tell me why? Can you tell me why virus is not classified? I'll take your doubts, bacha. I'll take your doubts very quickly. Ma'am, prokaryotic cell में RNA होता है, हमारे सेल में भी RNA है, right? So see, RNA is present in ours also. It's just that RNA can be the genetic material in the case of some viruses, right? Yes, Menti, very soon. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Viruses cannot survive by themselves, right? So we know that mainly viruses are considered to be somewhere between living and non-living. And if you look at things like cell wall, cell number, we can't really say virus is a cell, right? Sometimes we use the term acellular also for virus, which is why they are not classified in any other kingdom. All right. Now for all my kids who are asking a doubt, okay, a quick doubt board for all of them, okay? Then we have to move on because we have Menti also, right? So jaldi. What is RNA? RNA is ribonucleic acid. So that is what we mean by RNA, right? What is cotyledon? Cotyledon is often known as the first seed leaf, right? So in a bean seed, if you take the section of it, this main part that is there, right? So this part is what we call as a cotyledon. All right. Ma'am, amphibian होते हैं, जो amphibian होते हैं उनमें gills भी होते हैं. Yes. So amphibians at a younger stage, like for example in the case of frogs at the tadpole stage, they will have gills. Yes. Ma'am, is it green? That's a very vague question. What is green? Give me a proper thing. What is virus? Viruses are nothing but they are structures, right? So we see that if I were to draw a virus, it would be something of this sort, okay? What is virus? Virus is nothing but a structure which has a protein kind of covering. Inside it will have a genetic material. It does not have a proper structure of the cell, right? Which is why if you see it, we cannot really, classify it or group it based on number, mode, right? So that is what we mean by it, all right? Mama, cotyledons green? Not necessarily. In some plants they are green, in some they are not. Okay? Yes. Now moving on to the next one, alright? I will take the next set of doubts after I finish this, okay? So till then I need your focus, alright? Till then just listen to me. We are now going to be talking about biological classification, wherein now we use the term kingdom, right? We learnt about kingdom. But we also have things wherein at different level we categorize it. So now we learned that there are 5 kingdoms, yes? But now what happens is that in that if I take one kingdom, let's say I am taking kingdom Animalia, and I'm saying all the animals will come in kingdom Animalia. It makes it very tough to study, right? Which is why they need to be further categorized. So they are further categorized into something known as phylum, alright? And here we see that in the phylum, the group of organisms will have some similarities, but still a large amount of differences. Which is why further they will be classified into classes. Okay, so at each level if you see we have a hierarchy where from kingdom to species the similarity amongst organisms will increase. So which will show maximum similarity? Will kingdom show maximum similarity or will species show maximum similarity? Very quickly, if it is in this order of increasing similarity, which will have maximum similarity? Yes? Everyone, quickly, fatafat. Maximum similarity. Kingdom or species? See, I am telling you, kingdom has all the animals. So will kingdom show maximum similarity? No. Okay, yes, for those of you who are telling me species, you are correct. But those of you who told me kingdom, answer is wrong. And I'll tell you why. See, in kingdom level, we see that there is maximum differences with minimum similarity. What were the characteristics we learnt about? We learnt about things like multicellular. We learnt about, how they are, all are all are eukaryotic, all are, doing photosynthesis. On that case, if you see, right, we see that this is very, very basic. Yes, it's a very basic way of classifying. So, very minimum similarity. But as we go from kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, maximum similarity will be seen among species, right? So in this case, if you see the main reason why we classify at a species level, we see that there is maximum similarities where they can come together and interbreed to make sure that they produce fertile offsprings, right? So this is what is biological classification. And here's a quick mnemonic that will help you understand. Keep ponds clean or frogs get sick. So this way you will know it's kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. Okay. So this is one way of understanding. Now the last topic that we are also going to talk about is a very important topic. Now what is this organism that you see on your screen? Everyone, jaldi jaldi. What is this animal that you see on your screen? Yes, no problem Anand, no problem at all bacha. Yes, you are seeing a deer, right? This is a deer. Now in your regional language, whatever you speak at home, no? What do you call a deer in whatever language you all speak at home? Can you tell me in the chat? Whatever language you speak at home, okay? What will you call a deer? Can you tell me? Hiran, yes. Jinke, okay. Is it so, Vishnu? Is it called like that? Man in Malayalam, okay. Hiran, most of you are saying Hiran. Yes, Jinka in Telugu, okay. You better not be pranking me, okay, because I will not know. Very good. See, in different languages, one of you are telling me, ma'am, it's Hiran. One is telling me, ma'am, Harin in Marathi. One of you are telling me, ma'am, Jinka in Telugu. Already for the same animal in different languages, you are giving it different names, right? So across the world also this was happening. Some were calling it as servo, some were saying viado, some were saying olin, and they're like, oh, I found new organism. But at the end of the day, they were all finding the same organism, that was the deer. which is why they needed to have a common way of classifying organisms or giving a common name, which is why we call it as binomial nomenclature, which was put forth by Carl Linnaeus, right? So in this case, if you see, Carl Linnaeus said that, listen, we'll have a universal name, okay? So this is a universal scientific name that we give to the organism, all right? That means that we should have something which is scientific, not which is regional. And this is normally Latinized, right? So in this case, if you look at it, for deer, the universal scientific name is Odocoleus virginania, right? Where the genus name and the species name together make it up. Now, whenever you are writing scientific name, which again I will tell you in your exam if you are writing it, always make sure that the genus name is in capital and the species name is small. If you are typing it, it should be in italics. If it is handwritten, you should write it. So, if I write Panthera leo, right, I should underline this separately, not put one single line. So what is, yes, when you're writing Pisum sativum also, Pisum sativum, which is P, you will have to underline it separately, right? So very, very important. And along with this, like you are saying, what is binomial nomenclature? Nomenclature means giving name to an organism. Binomial means there are two components or two parts to it, right? Homo sapiens, exactly. So in this case, Panthera tigris, Panthera pardus, Panthera onca, they are all examples. So some of you are asking me, ma'am, what is this? This is leopard. What is this? This is jaguar. What is Panthera leo? It is lion, right? So with this, everybody, we come to the end of today's class. Of course, I have the Menti quiz after this, but very quickly, can you make sure that you have, if you have any more doubts, I will clarify it now. Ma'am, how to learn? See, binomial nomenclature is very tough. Like for some common examples which are relevant to your exam, learn those names, but you'll not be able to learn the scientific name of all the living organisms. That will be very tough, right? Ma'am, why does genus name starts with capital and species small? That is something that, can we not switch to the screen please yet? Okay. It is the way that they have designed it, right? That is why we write it in capital and small. So quick recap. So what did we study today? We started with learning about what is classification. It is nothing but grouping organisms based on their similarity and differences, right? And of course, we know that the branch of science that deals with it is what we call as taxonomy. Yes. Now, why some of you are asking me, ma'am, what is the, what is the need of classification, right? So when we talk about classification, we know that it is necessary to study the characteristics of certain organisms, right? And of course, it also makes it easy to study a large group of organisms and to understand origin and evolution of various organisms that we find in today, right? Now, of course, we also learned about how there are various methods of classification, but primarily we learned about the 5 kingdom classification, which was proposed by Robert Whittaker. So this was proposed by Whittaker, right? Wherein we know that there was Monera, there was Protista, there was fungi, plantae, and we have Animalia, and we learnt about their characteristics as well. And along with this, what did we also learn? We learnt about the hierarchy of classification. The kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species was the hierarchy of classification. Yes, and then of course at the end of it, we learnt about binomial nomenclature. Right? So we also learnt about this. So are we clear, everybody? Are we clear? Yes, a lot of math lovers. I hope there's a lot of bio lovers also. Ma'am, scientific name of fungi. Fungi does not have a scientific name, okay? But if I go and if you tell me about a certain type of mushroom, it's called as agaricus, right? Yes. Okay, ma'am, biggest kingdom, Animalia. Yes. Ma'am, mode of nutrition of virus. It's actually parasitic, right? Because we know that in the case of virus, we know that it actually, it takes over a cell. So we actually say it is parasitic. Fungi is a group. Okay. So if you tell in that also scientific name, you will have to tell me specifically what. Ma'am, what is agar? Agar is like a substance we use in tissue culture. Yes. Tomorrow will class be there? Maths class will be there. Yes. Ma'am, does every living organism have a scientific name? Yes, it does. Okay. All right, everybody. What is hierarchy? Hierarchy is the chronology or how you arrange it, right? So that is what we call as hierarchy. Okay. All right. So now quickly, everybody, we are going to be having our Menti quiz, right? So in the meanwhile, I'll be taking the rest of the doubts through Menti. All right. Ma'am, what is herbarium? Herbarium is nothing but a thing that we prepare where we make a record of a plant, right? So if you want me to continue the chapter and you want me to go more in detail, you will have to let me know in the comment section below, right? Let me know in the comment section and then I will take it up with the team and then I will finish off the whole chapter. Yes? Ma'am, does human have scientific name? We do. It's called as Homo sapiens, right? Yes. Can I switch? Okay, everybody. 1 minute, Vishnu. Yes, everybody, quickly on your screens, Menti. Ma'am, only bio will be held on Menti. Yes, I will be mainly doing what I have taught right now. Okay, whatever I have taught right now, I'm just going to be do. Ma'am, please complete the teaching. See, if you have to complete it, you have to let me know in the comments. And you should like this video. Vishnu, how many likes do we have? 85. Guys, 25 more likes and 100. Okay. Ma'am, are there any organisms in Homo genus? Our ancestors, we have Homo habilis, Homo neanderthals. They come in Homo genus, okay? Yes. Bachas, I need you to make sure that we hit 100 likes, okay? Fatafat, let's hit 100 likes. Yes? Okay. I can see good number of you who are there in today's class, but I see that very few people have joined the Menti quiz. Jaldi, jaldi, the code is 48443384. Yes? Jaldi, jaldi, let's join Menti. Go to www.menti.com and put 48443384. And we'll finish off it very quickly, okay? Yes, we'll wind it up in the next 10 to 15 minutes maximum. I'll not take too much time. 1.5 hour class, right? How many questions are there? Just 10. Ma'am, where should we go in Chrome? Take a separate tab in Chrome and type www.menti.com. Put this on Chrome and then go ahead and join this. PDF मिलेगा, जरूर मिलेगा. 9th and 10th grade Telegram channel पे मिलेगा. अगर if you have still not joined, please make sure that you join. Link is in the description. Yes? Ma'am, what is Menti? Menti is a quiz platform where you will be able to play the quiz with your friends. Oh, there are only 8 questions. Very easy. Simple, simple, simple one. Okay. Yes, all right, everybody. Ma'am, wait for 5 minutes. Okay, I will wait for 5 minutes, but of course, you can join in the meanwhile. Let me just refresh my YouTube screen once. Ma'am, what about Pisces? Pisces will come in class, okay? Pisces is a class which comes under the phylum of vertebrata, okay? So it is in kingdom Animalia. Ma'am, how many blocks is, not how many blocks, how many chambers? Crocodile has 4 chambered, okay? कितने क्वेश्चन के बाद लीडर बोर्ड आएगा? 4 क्वेश्चन के बाद, ठीक है? बहुत सारे बैक बेंचर्स भी है. चलो चलो ज्वाइन कर लो, ठीक है? लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड एवरीबॉडी. यस. First question. Identify the correct way of writing scientific name. You have 4 options and you need to identify the correct answer. Is it A, B, C or D? Ma'am, how many questions are there? There are 8 questions only. Very simple. Yes. All right, everyone. Quickly, quickly. Yes. Very good, everybody. Very good. So if you see, right, when you talk about option A, those of you who voted for option A, right? See, Panthera tigris was written, but the whole thing was underlined. And we know that we should not do that. We need to underline genus name and species name separately, right? So that is the correct way of writing. Correct answer is option B. And Anandi, if you want to crack NEET, Stay subscribed to Byju's 9 and 10 and go and subscribe to Akash Byju's NEET. Trust me, you will make sure that I know for a fact you will crack NEET, right? Just have that confidence and belief, okay? All right, moving on to the next question. Yes? Question number 2, everybody, on your screens. If you still haven't joined Menti, go to www.menti.com. Type in the code which Vishnu sir will send in the chat, okay? Yes, all right. Highest rank of sequence of classification of organisms is what? Kingdom, genus, phylum, kingdom, species. Highest rank in the sequence of classification. Okay, Vaishnavi, I actually don't know the answer to that. I'll get back to you on this because I've never really thought about what is the most complicated organism. Yes. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis is nothing but the balance that is maintained in our body, right? The chemical balance that is there with respect to all processes, right? Which is what we call as homeostasis. Very good, everybody. Very good. So we know that highest or the broadest, I would use that term better than highest, but the broadest way of classifying organisms is at the kingdom level, right? So correct answer is kingdom. Now moving on to the next one, question number 3, everyone, on your screens, right? Let's have a look. Okay, select the odd one out. All right, let's see what is there. We have amoeba, euglena, paramecium or yeast. Which is the odd one out here? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? This is very simple. Everyone, make sure that you quickly like this video. We want to hit 100 likes. No, so jaldi like the video. Don't forget. Ma'am, wrong click. It's okay, it's okay. Guys, in this case, if you see, we have amoeba, euglena, paramecium, which are all belonging to kingdom Protista. But yeast right here is a unicellular organism, but it belongs to kingdom fungi, right? Which is why the odd one out is yeast. Now let's move on to question number 4, after which we will have the leaderboard, okay? Everybody, question number 4 on your screens. Yes? अगर ये portion cut है तो कोई नहीं, it's important for your 11th and 12th, right? Okay, 5 kingdom classification is proposed by who? Haeckel, Linnaeus, Aristotle or Whittaker. Very simple and easy. Jaldi. Vishnu, how many likes are we at? Guys, 3 more likes and we'll hit 100. So make sure that if you still have not liked, you like the video because you know you want to be that 100th like that is there on the video. Yes. Ma'am, kya questions de diya miss? Very good, everybody. Very good. The correct answer here is Whittaker. Now, there are 2 reasons as to why these things are easy for you. One thing is that you have learnt it well, right? And that is why I make sure that I ask you simple questions, right? So that is one more important thing. So it's very, very important. Now moving on, of course, before I move on, let's have a look at the leaderboard, right? So let's see what the leaderboard says. I can see Vansh and Ansh Tyagi is the fastest. Then I have Purnima, Priyal, Mahi, I have Soumya, Kripa, I have Ayush, Boti, McBoatface. Okay, who is this? Atharva and Alka. Very good, everybody. Very good. Very proud of all of you. Ma'am, why can't scientific names be easy? Because if they were easy, right, after a point, it becomes tough to name so many animals. And we are talking about naming millions of animals, right? Which is why we have a proper way. Like, that's why we have a Latinized, universal, scientific way of naming them. Very good, everybody. Very, very good. Yes. Ma'am, please write. Yeah, sure. I'll give you time to write your name. Okay. Moving on to the next one, right? Next one. Question number 5, everyone, on your screens. Yes? Quickly, I'm going to give you some time to write the name. Royal Gamers, ma'am, not clear. What is not clear? Can you tell me so that I can explain that part to you? Yes. All right. So now moving on to the next one, right? Let's have a look. Select the correct statement amongst the following. So we have 4 statements from which we need to pick the correct one. Ernst Haeckel classified organisms into 5 kingdoms. Ernst Haeckel classified organisms into Protista, Animalia, plants. He classified them into plants and animals. He's the father of taxonomy. Yes. All right. This is very easy. Ma'am, can you explain the previous question once again? Which was, I actually forgot the previous question. Okay. Yes, I will answer. Where do you need to answer this? Go to menti.com and I'll be able to help you out with this, okay? Okay, yes, got it. Very good, everybody. Very good. The correct answer is option B. Because Ernst Haeckel was responsible for the 3 kingdom classification, where he said that there is Protista, which will have all the microorganisms. Then we will have plants and animals, right? And 5 kingdom classification. For somebody who was asking me, ma'am, can you explain the previous question? 5 kingdom classification, where we have Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and Animalia, was given by Whittaker, right? So he was the one who gave that. And who was responsible for classifying them into plants and animals? That was Linnaeus, right? And Linnaeus is called as the father of taxonomy, okay? All right. So now everybody, for those of you who are telling me, ma'am, Menti nahi chal raha hai, please do try it out. I mean, refresh once, you will be able to use it, okay? Last 2 questions, okay? Last 2 to 3 questions and we are going to finish it up, okay? Jaldi, we'll wind it up. Okay. Select the incorrect statement about classification amongst the following. All right. Classification is needed for convenient study of living organisms, helps in correct identification, helps to know origin and evolution, helps to recognize reproductive patterns of organisms. Understand that we are talking about the incorrect statement. Okay. Incorrect. Quickly, everybody, quickly. Ma'am, this is confusing. Yes, this is actually a little confusing question. But it's actually pretty easy if you think about it. We have discussed few already, so this should be an easy one, right? Very good, very good. It's okay, bacha, if it's a misclick, no problem, right? See, classification is necessary for study of living organisms, right? It makes study of living organisms easy and also helps in correct identification of various organisms. They also help in understanding origin and evolution, but we do not recognize reproductive patterns through this, right? So this is the incorrect answer. Now last 2 questions and we'll have the leaderboard. So quickly everybody, question number 7 on your screens. State the incorrect statement about Carolus Linnaeus. We've already discussed, so this should be easy. Father of taxonomy, gave 2 kingdom classification, gave 5 kingdom classification. You have only 3 options. 4th one is not even there. Very, very easy peasy one, right? Easy one. अरे अभी तो बताया. हाँ, exactly. Yes. हाँ, Ratna, please ask me your question. Please ask me your question. See, the main intent of me doing this class and taking your time, right, to teach you all of this is mainly because I want you to start feeling comfortable with tougher topics, right? And when you go to 11th standard, this is going to happen where some bio topics can become very scary. So I want to help you out with that. And now is when you slowly start learning all of this, right? You don't need me to explain, you know this, right? 5 kingdom classification was not given by Carolus Linnaeus. Now we'll move on to the last one, okay? Last question. On your screens, everybody. The one who worked on evolutionary theories and classification amongst the following was Ernst Haeckel, Carolus Linnaeus, Aristotle, or was it all of the above? Okay. Ma'am, formula for bleaching powder. I hope I'm not wrong, but I think it's CaOCl3, right? I hope I'm not wrong. But you can check with Kriti ma'am once. Yes. Who is considered or who was the one who worked on evolutionary theories? Okay. Yes, all right. Okay. Most of you didn't even mark Ernst Haeckel. The part where all of you got confused was the fact of evolutionary theories. Okay, it was there on the slide, but I did not really mention much about it. But Ernst Haeckel was the one who not only contributed from classification, or he not only contributed to classification, but he worked on various evolutionary theories. Aristotle, we know, as a philosopher. Linnaeus, who was there, was mainly involved in classification, right? He was mainly involved in ideating and, structuring how classification happens, taxonomy, right? Yes, all right. Oh, it is CaOCl2, not Cl3. Okay, sorry, my bad, right? Yes, no one gave the correct answer. Koi nahi. But let's have a quick look at the leaderboard, everybody. Yes? Ma'am, why not B? That's what Carolus Linnaeus was mainly responsible for. What? He was responsible for taxonomy. He's called the father of taxonomy, right? He did not have much to contribute in evolutionary theories, but Ernst Haeckel did, which is why the correct answer is Ernst Haeckel. Okay, Satvik? So well done, everybody. Well done. I can see that Vansh and Ansh Tyagi are at the top. So with 6,459 points. Then we have Mahi, Soumya, Purnima. I have Vaishnavi, who is the fastest. Atharva, Rhythm. And I can see Kripa, Ayush and Nakshatra. Well done, everybody. Well done. Very proud of all of you for doing such an amazing job, right? And of course, here's a quick homework question for all of you to write down what is the biological name of lion, wheat and mango in the comment section below. Yes, lots of love from Bangalore to you as well, Ratna. Lots of love, right? And lots of love to all my bachas here. Now, if you want an extension of diversity in living organisms, then you need to write it in the comments below, right? We need to tell the team. So if you need the rest of the chapter where you want in-depth explanation of characteristics of Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia, where we go into the details of division, phylum, please make sure that you go ahead and let me know in the comments, right? And of course, here's a reminder for Byju's spoken English classes. And as you know, if you are somebody who struggles with it, please make sure that you try this out in your personal space, in your personal time. Sorry. So you will be able to learn this, right? It's a 2-month program and Cambridge certified teachers are there, so they will be able to help you out. And you know that Byju's 9th and 10th grade has always got you covered. So please make sure that you still have not liked this video, you like this video, you share it with your friends and you stay subscribed to the channel. Lots of love to all my bachas who are here and I will see you all very soon again. Up until then, bye everybody. Good night.